Hey guys, welcome back to the Beyond Hope Project. My name is Jason Tharp, the champion of hope, and I have a very short one for you today that you can refer back to often. So whatever it is you listen to these on, hit that favorite button, bookmark it, set it to repeat, because I want this to just provide you a power up. And it's meant for those days that you're having those moments where you feel completely invisible. And I just want to say before we get started that, how much I appreciate you showing up, listening to this, and supporting what we're doing. And ask a favor. If you know two people that know two people, share this with somebody. Share this with at least two people. That's all I'm asking. If you've picked up anything along the way on this, listening to this podcast, just share with two people. And with that, let's jump right in. Again, like I said, I think you are going to enjoy this one, because what I really intend to do with this is just to provide you with just a little boost. It's something that you can refer back to if you're having a down day or if you're feeling a little bit lost. And to give context, I remember when I was diagnosed and when the doctor came in, and they were very blunt with me and a very quick, within a few minutes of knowing me, telling me I was going to be dead in 7 months. In that rush of the feelings, what it felt like was all of a sudden like I was a kid again, and everybody tell me all the reasons why I wasn't going to be able to do all the things I wanted to do. It was somebody making a prediction on my life. And for the first time in a long time, I felt really, really invisible. It was easy when I was a kid because I could kind of get sucked into my sketchbooks. I can get lost in creating stuff because that was my world. I was able to control that. But this world is different. In this world, I have responsibilities and I have other obligations that I needed to live up to. So feeling invisible as an adult was weird. I had felt invisible before, but not to this level. And most of the invisibility I felt when I was adult was more internalized. It was a lot of self-inflicted invisibility. Whereas this one, it felt like I was invisible to the world. Like nobody can understand what this feels like. Nobody can understand how this is taking over everything. And it felt incredibly lonely. And maybe you're going through that right now. Maybe right now something is happening in your world where you feel that nobody understands anything that I'm going through. And there's no way that people can possibly relate to me right now. And everywhere you look, it looks like everybody's just putting their hand on your head and trying to push you down. And when all you want to do is fight for that breath of air to get just a little reprieve from this noise, because it's loud and it's obnoxious, and I just want everybody to leave me alone. This part sucks. And while there's no magic pill that's going to help you feel visible again, what I have found that has worked well for me was understanding that I'm not as alone as I thought I was. And that by sharing the stuff that I'm going through, I will find that there are other people out there that are just like me. For you, it might be something to laugh at, a good comedy show, or maybe it's a scary movie, or maybe it's a walk in the woods. Maybe it's creating something. Maybe it's going out and just yelling out to the air. Allow yourself to do those things. Don't do what I did, which was bottle it all up. I would pressure it down. I'd push it down until this diagnosis came. All of a sudden I was being choked out. It was like anxiety just rolled up into my throat, and it was like a giant that had their hand around my throat, and it just kept squeezing every time that all I wanted to do was somebody just to say, it'll be okay. It wasn't like I needed somebody to say, here's the magic thing that'll fix it all. I just wanted somebody to say, it'll be okay. You're not alone. And maybe share something with me in that. And it did finally happen for me. It took a few days for it to happen, but it was amazing. Once I started to realize that, wow, I'm not as invisible as I feel, the anxiety subsided. I was able to start to look at the world in a different way. And I think for the first time, this is where hope really showed up for me. It was where I started to understand maybe my purpose is a little different. Maybe how I can start stepping into this is having these vulnerable moments with other people, to be able to share what is and does go through my head quite often, and not being so afraid to feel invisible anymore. Because what I have found is, and when I'm feeling invisible, the more I can kind of share that, the more I actually feel that I'm seen. And the crazy part for me was that people appreciate that. And that was new. That feeling of letting something out that I had been afraid to show everybody, but realizing that people appreciate that. I didn't know that was a possibility. And so I would encourage you, if you are one of those people right now that are feeling pretty invisible and you're feeling alone, to not be afraid to share, to not be afraid to reach out to other people, to see that video or that reel online or somebody's post that inspires you, and not to be afraid to reach out. I think that in your boldness, you'll find a lot of healing. Taking bold steps to actively change your intention away from being invisible into feeling visible will open doors that you think are closed, but they're actually open. And it's really going to come down to you being brave enough to step into it. We use hope a lot of times on here, and it's about being hyper aware. How am I thinking? How am I feeling right now in this moment? Am I living in a past made up of past memories that I'm trying to hang on to, or trying to predict a future that doesn't exist? Instead, being present in this moment, being hyper aware of how I'm feeling, what am I thinking? Am I living off of some sort of past leftovers? You're open-hearted enough to love yourself to do the hard stuff. Breaking that pattern of invisibility does require you to take bold action on yourself. Whether it's writing in a journal or talking to somebody or whatever it is. I don't know what it is for you. For me, it's always been making stuff, creating something, making a world up and all those things like that makes me feel like I'm seen, because what I'm actually doing in that process is I'm taking it out of my head and putting it in real life so I can see the monster isn't as big as I've brought it up to be. And then understand through persistence that every day is a reset. I might have had a really crappy day today, but that doesn't mean that tomorrow has to be crappy. What I can do is I can reflect on what today was like. Through my hyper-awareness, through being open-hearted enough, I can understand that tomorrow I get to redo. What did I learn today that I can bring into my next day to reset this and start the new and persist each day? And knowing that each day, it may not be easier tomorrow, but I am taking one step closer to it becoming easier. And the last is you're empowered. When all of those things come together, you're going to feel pretty empowered. You're going to start to appreciate yourself differently. You're going to start to understand your values, your morals, your what I'm willing to accept for myself, my authenticity. All of these things that you right now, because we're invisible, feel is worthless. You're going to find you are worthy of all of those things. And that through that process, you're going to find that there's lots of people out there that are just like you. And the crazy thing that will happen is once you start to do these things is that the whole time you thought you were invisible, and you start to share these things and you start to embrace who you are and allow yourself to evolve, that you weren't invisible at all, that people have been paying attention and actually have been inspired by you just by you simply being you. And that will blow your mind, because I know it did mine. So guys, as I wrap this up, I just want to just tell you that how much I appreciate you showing up today. I appreciate you being in this world with me. I appreciate how much you persist at showing up and being the best you could possibly be today. Not afraid of being good in pursuit of being great. Because a lot of times your good is better than most people's whatever definition of great is. And this requires you just to show up. And I appreciate you for doing that. And if you do know somebody that needs to hear this message, make sure you share it. I'm looking for 2 people that may know 2 people. That's all I'm asking. And make sure you go in there and rate, review, put this on repeat. Listen to it again. Go back. And any days that you're feeling alone, know that you're not alone. Find me on social media. If you need somebody to reach out to me. I'm happy to help point you in that direction. But guys, thank you for showing up today. Thank you for being in this world with me. Being a human isn't easy, and you're doing a great job. Just one little step at a time, and you are getting closer to finding yourself than you ever realized. Anyway, hope this helps. Power up.
Foxland Media. Think big,